Okay, so I've built a simple board here for us to look at so we can talk about properties, views, filters, and sorting. So what I've done is I've made 5 projects. I've made a select, just a normal select, and added some options here for Steve, Bob, and Jill and assign things around. A multi-select for project types. I can click on that and see if it's a website, a logo, or social media, or a combination of. A date for when the project should run, and a status of whether it's complete, in progress, or not started. So we have a nice look here of this board. We can see all the projects coming up, and that's pretty good. But there's different ways to view this and to sort it, and this is where Notion really gets powerful. So I'm going to click on Add a View. Now I'm going to add a calendar view. So I'm going to click on Calendar and call it Calendar. Call it whatever you want. So we'll create that. And now we have a calendar view of everything going on. We see our 4 projects. And in here, you know what? I want to see the status of them too. So I'm going to click on Properties and say Status and actually see who it's assigned to. So I can see what's going on when I'm in this calendar view. So cool. What's neat here now, though, is I can jump back to the default view and actually click this on the side here to say all projects, perhaps, something like that. And it's still here. If I were to go into the calendar view and say change the date of something, say this one's a little shorter, that will reflect back on the main projects one. Steve's now only goes from the 5th to the 7th. So maybe I want a different view. I have the status. Maybe I want a Kanban board to see that. So let's add a view and give it a board. And we'll call it board. Again, you can be more creative with that. And there's our board. It's assigned by person, which isn't bad, but that's not really what I was looking for. So I'm going to click on Group by Status. So I can see the statuses. Okay, there we go. Started, in progress, complete, and then no status. I just want to hide that for now to get it out of the way. So now I can see the status of all the projects. Now I'm seeing too much stuff. I don't want to see the in progress and that stuff in here because I already see that elsewhere. So I'm going to turn off the status view of that. That looks a little better. And really, I don't want to see the dates here either. So let's go to Properties and turn off the date. So, all right, that's pretty cool. And again, here, this project B is in progress. When I finish it, I can drag it to this complete field, and that updates it everywhere else. If I go to all projects, that now shows as complete. So now we have 2 of them that are complete. So this is really kind of the power of this. You can have it different ways. Now we can, anytime I want, I can jump back to that board view, deal with things, and go back. It gets more powerful now if we deal with filtering and sorting. So say I want to see just what Steve's working on. Imagine this list is 50 projects long. I just want to see Steve's stuff. So I'll make a view with a new table, and I'll call it Steve. So right now it shows everyone, but I'm going to change this. I'm going to filter and say add a filter where assigned to is Steve. And so now it's only going to show me Steve's projects. And again, this is saved automatically. So anytime I want, I can jump back to see all projects, or I can jump in and see just what Steve has going on. And if Steve's very important, maybe I'll move his up near the top here so I can see that more quickly and jump to his stuff. You can also sort what's inside of things. So I'm going to go back to my main view, which I don't know what order it's in. We can sort of rearrange things if we want. There's no real order to it. I want it to always be alphabetical by project, though. They got out of order here a little bit. So we'll add a sort to it. Add a sort saying my name ascending, and that's actually exactly what we want. But you can do it by different categories, going ascending or descending, going different ways. And now this sort is saved, but again, it's only saved for this view. So if I go into a different view, like Steve's, for example, there's no sort on it. And again, you may have a bunch of stuff in here. So in his case, I may want to sort by date. If I have a lot of things in here, I want to say date, ascending as well. So I can see the ones coming up and then the ones further down going down there. Now I want to see what everyone's up to. So maybe a timeline would be useful. So let's go in here and add a view for a timeline. Go to the timeline, add the timeline. And so here's our timeline of everything. And again, our sort's weird. I don't like that sort like that. So let's make it, when we're everyone here, it's sorted by name, ascending. Perfect. Let's collapse this. And I see all my projects in here. That's good, but not quite enough detail. So I'm going to go to Properties. I want to see who's assigned each one and what the status is. Okay, that's kind of useful. Now I can see what's going on. And you know what? Really, Steve's is going to take longer than that. So I'm going to stretch his out. It'll overlap with Bob's a little bit. That's okay. And again, dragging that changed the date. So now Project A goes to the 15th, and that's the same everywhere. This card is going to be the same everywhere we look at it. We could add some text in here for Project A. And if we go back out to the main All Projects view, you'll see now that his goes from the 5th to the 15th, and you can see the icon showing there's text. And sure enough, if we go in, some text in here. It's the same database, just viewing it different ways, and it's so powerful the way you can do that. The last example I'll show you, and I don't think it would make much sense in a situation like this, we'll do it anyhow, is we'll add a view for a gallery. And we'll click on Gallery and create that gallery. So here's our gallery, and again, it's kind of got the ugly preview of page content, which isn't that helpful. I've already added a cover image to each one, so we'll go by page cover. So now we can see all the covers. So maybe this is logos for the companies you're working on, or some other thing you want to see for what's going on. You have all that info there. And so again, we could filter. Really, I could say, show me who it's assigned to. And I only want to see Jill stuff here because Jill does the logo work for me. That's great. Or you know what? I'm only going to show the logos. Let's do that. Some of these projects are about logos. We can go to project type and see that some have websites and social media. There's 2 that have logos. One's just a logo and one a website and logo. So let's filter and say, add a filter where project type contains logo. Now it's only going to show the 2 logos. So now they're going to be only showing the logos. And since I know these are logo projects, I no longer need to waste the space seeing that. So I'll even undo that. And I say, okay, Bob has a logo project and Jill has a logo project. I do want to see what the status is. So let's go ahead and turn that on. So now we see the statuses. There we go. Perfect. That's a nice gallery. Now let's go back and see everything. So any database you set up, you can do this with. You can set the properties, you can set the views, you can set the filters, you can set the sorting. You can lots of great stuff with databases. And this is really where you should start seeing the power of how this can work, where this is kind of nice in and of itself, but you're able to quickly say, but what's Steve have? Okay, there's just Steve's without having to manually filter it every time. You could always do that. You could be, I'm on all projects. Let me add a filter to say where name contains, where assigned to is Steve. Okay, cool. There's Steve's. All right, let me see Jill's now. So let me go back to the filter and change that to Jill. And you can bounce around like that and look, let's turn the filter off all the way. So let's remove that filter and see everyone again. It's not bad, but being able to say, you know what, here's Steve's. It's sort of the way I want. And maybe in Steve's case, I don't care. I don't need to see assigned to. Really, I don't in this case. So I'm going to turn off assigned to save me some space because I know this is all Steve's stuff. I don't need to see it's assigned to him. So you can do things like that too to really customize every different view of a database. We'll talk later about linked database, where we can take a view and insert just a specific view on a whole different page in Notion, and it still ties together to this original database and really makes things pretty powerful. So I hope that helps you understand a bit better the power of these databases in Notion.